All right, hello folks, and welcome back to the Health Coach Business Program brought to you by the Health Coach Closer Method. You can find us at www.healthcoachclosermethod.com. We are the only free and complete business training for health coaches and cash-based functional practitioners on the internet. I do not know of anyone that is creating a complete business training for you guys for free. I know plenty that are charging thousands of dollars for theirs. I've been through them myself, and now you are getting this for free after over 10 years in the space. As we move along here, I'm going to assume that you are not finding these videos randomly. If somehow you are, welcome. You stumbled upon something that will hopefully make you a lot of money and get you a lot of clients. But make sure to go back and watch the videos in order. All you got to do is go to the description of this video and you can see all the other videos laid out in order, and you go through this just like you would a normal business training or a curriculum. Today, we're talking about building your brand. And when I say this, I mean building your personal brand. It is one of my favorite topics. I think it is so underutilized. It's definitely misunderstood. And it is something that I have been able to successfully do multiple times, either for myself or when I was a representative at different companies and organizations to help boost my sales, credibility, all this kind of stuff, okay? So you can use this personally, and you really should, because what's happening now, if you follow anyone else in the business space, and maybe you don't, that's okay, but if you do follow anyone else in the business space, one of the things that they are warning business owners about right now is that you gotta get on the personal brand bandwagon. If you wanted to avoid it for the last 10, 15 years with social media and stuff, you were able to do that. That's fine. You can't do that anymore. Definitely not over the next year or two. And the reason for that is because you are going to get crushed by the people who are on top of this. Now, before you click off, this does not mean you have to get on TikTok and start dancing or lip singing. This does not mean that you have to be inauthentic or do things that you're not comfortable with or have perfectly polished videos. None of that is necessarily true. What we are talking about here today is a personal brand, which is going to be what Jeff Bezos said here. Your brand, your personal brand in this case, is going to be what other people say about you when you're not in the room. Now imagine if you could control this. That's where we're going to start today, and that's what I'm going to teach you. When you can control this narrative, that is how you are going to get clients seemingly randomly and for free and with a lot more ease. It is not something that you're going to build in a day, but all the steps that I will teach you today are things that you are going to have to do regardless to build your business. So you might as well do them correctly and with a little bit of strategy. And the great news is none of this takes a very advanced thinking skills. You can just follow the steps today. Super easy to implement in everything else that you're doing, I promise. And it's going to make all the difference as we get your business going here. So what I kind of find funny about Jeff Bezos' thing is his quote is obviously true, but you can see how he sadly failed to succeed with making it a positive image over time, right? He is correct that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. We probably should have added here, ideally that would be positive to more people than not. And I do know that Amazon is used by obviously everyone, right? Because if you don't know this, somehow Jeff Bezos is the founder of Amazon. Amazon's used by basically everyone. The thing is, though, even though everyone uses it and profits good, I get that. That does not mean that most people like Amazon. I feel like a lot of people worry about what it does to other businesses. I think a lot of people think it's very strange how it's like kind of the only thing that is able to do that at that level. And yes, I understand. I'm not here to debate this. I understand that they represent small businesses and personal sellers. My book, Overcoming Mental Health Challenges, is on Amazon. Okay, I get it. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that people say negatively towards Amazon. Jeff Bezos also bought Whole Foods, right? And Whole Foods is supposed to be the super healthy place, has the best quality food in the world, and that is absolutely not the case when you are in Whole Foods. There are clearly better health food stores that have better options than Whole Foods, right? So he is 100% correct on this quote, but what we want to do here is make sure that we are being liked more often than not. We don't have to be liked all the time. In fact, if you put yourself out there in the world, you can't expect to be liked all the time, but we can arrange this in such a way that we are liked and remembered more often than not. So let's get into it. I want to start with this. This is a great way to think about this. So you guys all know ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is a pain medicine, right? It's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, an NSAID. And ibuprofen is the generic of the drug, right? What are some brand names of it? Advil, Motrin. I'm sure there's others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but ibuprofen is the generic right? Most people have heard of, even if they haven't taken one, they do know of Xanax, and that can help your sleep. I don't think it's supposed to be used long-term for your sleep. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can help your sleep. It certainly helps anxiety, but that is not the name of the drug. The name of the drug is alprazolam, right? That's the generic. That is the drug that's sold everywhere in the world, but then it has different brand names depending on where you are at and what company you're getting it from. So this is the power of a brand. This is how much this matters. And you guys have all seen this before. And you can, if you haven't noticed it and how significant it is, at the very least, let this be a seed planted in your mind so that the next time that you're at the store, take a moment to go to these aisles and see how much a brand matters. It is in your face insulting how much brand matters. Here's what I mean. If you go to CVS right now, or Walgreens, or Rite Aid, or whatever, very often the store brand is about half of the price of the name brand. So if you go to CVS and they have CVS's ibuprofen capsules, 200 milligrams, same stuff, same stupid additives, right, with their cornstarch and the dyes and all this other crap that doesn't need to be in there. They have the same thing, and it is sitting right next to the name brand. And yet the name brand will have the same dosage, the same crap ingredients that are added in addition to the medicine, in the same amount of serving sizes, and yet it's double the price. Very often, it's at least 50% more expensive, if not double. And every single day, people go in and they buy Tylenol, even though that is just the brand name. The generic is acetaminophen, right? You can buy that anywhere that you're buying Tylenol. You can buy the generic. But they don't do that. People don't do that, generally speaking. They buy the brand. At the very least, they're buying it often enough for these to be major companies to the point that every single person watching this knows what I'm talking about. You know what Tylenol is. You know what Advil is. You know what Motrin is. Okay? So when you have a brand and an association with that brand, it is worth a lot of money. If I said Red Bull right now, you probably know the slogan. Red Bull does what? It gives you wings. And now what has Red Bull pivoted to over time? They have these extreme athletes that are sponsored by their brands. You have cliff jumpers, base jumpers, skateboarders that are doing insane tricks and stunts, mountain biking that is associated with Red Bull. And if you think, well, how could that possibly work? Does that really influence us that much? Go look up how many Red Bull cans were sold in 2025. I'll give you a moment. You could pause this, go look that up really quick. And then you tell me that it's not working. These people that do this are not dumb. In fact, some of the smartest teams in marketing and psychology in the world are behind these brands, influencing you in every single way, right? And then they also know when to play them. Have you ever, if you have a kid, have you ever seen an advertisement on a kid's station that doesn't really seem to make sense for the kid? There's two reasons for that. One, they know that you're with the kid. So depending on the age of the child, they might know that the adult is with them. So they're trying to influence the adult. The other aspect of this, which is much more cynical and a little nasty, is that they're influencing the child over time so that the child can make a decision later. Do you know how many times I heard when I was a kid the J.G. Wentworth song called J.G. Wentworth, 877 Cash Now? I have that in my head as an adult. Now, I don't need cash now. I certainly didn't need one at 5 years old, but that is now in my head as an associated brand for if I need fast cash, right? Kind of creepy. Very creepy, actually. Think about what Happy Meals do and all these other things from these brands that indoctrinate children, but then are also indoctrinating the adults that are monitoring and watching those children while the TV is on. Okay, so these brands know what they're doing. Now, I am never suggesting or promoting that we be nasty like some of these folks and manipulative, but it is to say that a brand matters and that if you can influence people in such a way that they associate you as the solution to a problem or set of problems, they will pay a premium and send their friends and family to you. No one says, hey, can you go to the store and pick up ibuprofen? They say, oh, can you go pick up an Advil? Can you go pick up a Motrin? No one says, definitely not this one, no one says, can you go pick up an acetaminophen from the store? They say, can you go get me a Tylenol? Right? They might not even care if it's the brand name, but they say that because it's that much of a dominant force in their head. So how can we do this for you, and what would it look like for you? Let's figure that out. You are the brand. That's what you need to think about from now on. You're the personal brand. I guarantee most of you do not have a desire to go start some huge company that's going to have 100 employees, and then that would be a separate type of brand, right? You are the personal brand. And even if you did have a large company, this still works. I know that some of these names are not the most liked anymore, and some people love them. That's great. When I mention names on this channel, I am not supporting or not supporting them. I am showing you something that works. Elon Musk is currently the richest man in the world publicly, right? And the reason that I say publicly is because a lot of people believe certain world leaders and people in Saudi Arabia of royalty have a lot more money than him, and that might be true. The richest publicly, though, is Elon Musk. So certainly he's up there. He's probably in the top 100. Elon Musk spends an immense amount of time building his personal brand, right? He's constantly on Twitter. He's posting his own stuff. He's out there doing podcasts. You know Elon Musk as this kind of eccentric, even if you don't like him, maybe genius individual that is involved in all these different things in politics or whatever. So he is the brand. That's a personal brand. So even at the top, this is still that important that these guys and gals are out there focusing on their Instagrams, focusing on podcasts and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. So for a solo coach, the brand and the person are the same thing for the foreseeable future, because that's probably not going to change for you anytime soon, and it might not even change at all depending on what your business goals are. So everything that you say online and you say in person is being watched and listened to. You need to be intentional for your niche. This is why we talked about that before, and this is why these videos are sequential. So if you have not watched the other videos yet, please go take a second to go through this. What you say does not really matter in general. What you say definitely matters if you're trying to attract a certain type of person or get into niche content. Okay? Or I guess I should say you're trying to make niche content for your people. If I just get on there and share all of my political views, my religious views, all this kind of stuff, I can say whatever I want on social media. Who cares? Some people might love it. Some people might hate it. But if I don't think about who my ideal client is when I'm saying those things, I need to understand that I am very likely taking a major risk and pushing away a lot of people from me. That's something that you have to think about. So I know a lot of us like sharing politics. I know a lot of us like sharing our religious beliefs. If that is not in alignment with your niche and who you are trying to attract, it is best to keep some of those things to yourself. Now, if you say, Ev, I will not be silenced. I will never keep things to myself. I will share exactly what I believe. That is great. More power to you. I'm actually that person. Every single person who follows me knows my politics and religious beliefs. Okay? But that's me. And I like attracting outspoken people who can see both sides of things, because even though I have my beliefs, I'm still very respectful and objective, or I try to be at least, with other sides. I think most people know me like that. So that's me. And I get a lot of heat, though, for sharing some of my opinions. So that might not be what you want to do. If you are trying to work with perimenopausal women, you might not have to share your religious and political beliefs to attract those individuals, okay? But everything that you say is being watched. So whether it's politics, religion, or something completely unrelated, all the little things that you share, you need to consider how that is going to affect and impact the view that your potential client has on you. Okay? We'll get into how to do this even better in just a moment, but let's move on for a second here. This is the word association game. And I want to just do this with you really quick because I have the answers at the bottom there. But even if you did not read those, you will see how powerful this can be, because this is what we're going to want to set up for you. If you think of Nike, you think of athletic wear, or you might have used words similar to that. If you think of Amazon, everything fast. McDonald's, quick junk food. Okay? It's not an accident that these things got to where they're at. Now, I don't think McDonald's ever wanted to be labeled as junk food necessarily. It was supposed to be quick. So over time, things can get shifted. Amazon didn't start out the way that it was. It was actually a book-selling company at first, right? And it does that now amongst many other things. But over time, just because they got poor reputation does not mean that these things started off that way. And some can maintain it over time. Nike is still associated with athletic wear. I don't know many people that hate on Nike in the same way that they would on McDonald's. Not at all. Adidas has a certain feel to it. Skechers has a certain feel to it. Gucci, certain feel to it, right? It's not an accident. There's billions of dollars behind these brands making sure that you have this association with these companies. So what if we could do that for you? What would that look like? Right? Because we want to flip this. So the big brands, we say their name and we instantly think about what they do. For a solo coach with a personal brand, what we want is this. We want the specific problem to be associated with your name. And when you can get the majority of your network to do this, that's when you win. Now, this is not to say, again, to be very clear here, this is not to say that you cannot get tons of other clients without doing this, or that you're not going to get clients without doing this. That's not what I'm getting at. I am talking about compounding effects that are going to positively benefit your business over time, and this is one of the largest ones that you can have, or largest things that you can do. Business is a game of compounding. It is always hardest in the beginning. It'll never be harder to get clients than it is in the beginning. It'll never be harder to get taken seriously than it is in the beginning. Because people don't get it yet. They don't know what you're about, especially if you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you're just starting this for the first time. They don't know you as that person yet, man. It takes time. So the longer that you're involved in this stuff, the easier it gets. So you might as well do it from day one. So what we want to think about is, how do I get it to a point where the specific problem that I serve, this is why I go by problems and symptoms in the niche. I know some other people teach differently. Again, if you're going to listen to someone else, that's fine, but do everything that they say. If you're going to listen to me, then please do everything I say. Because think about this from even a functional practitioner perspective. You could have two very well-meaning functional practitioners, and if they're working with the same client, that client can end up getting kind of screwed over or messed up because these people are recommending and suggesting different things. It's not that the suggestions and recommendations were inherently wrong. It's that they were done based on other things that that particular functional practitioner knew about or were recommending and suggesting, right? So don't mix up two philosophies. If you have another coach that you like more than me, totally fine. I'll take no offense. Go follow their stuff in its entirety. If you're doing it my way, this is why we're going to follow my stuff in its entirety. Because again, some people teach the niche thing differently. This is why I focus on a specific problem, because I want it to be that when someone mentions that problem, they think about my name. And I've had to rebrand a couple of times in my adult life. At one point, the main and only thing I was doing was youth mental health speaking in schools. So I wanted it to be that every single time someone thought about mental health, students needing a speaker, all that kind of stuff, they thought about Evan Transu. Now I've moved into a different phase of my life. Also, I've worked for companies where I had certain associations with my name. Okay? So you can do this even if you work for someone else and you have a public-facing role, that is, right? But you definitely want to do it for yourself because you're always going to be public-facing to some degree in your own business. So the specific problem, we want that associated with your name. How do we do that? How do we do that? Well, I'll show you. Here's a little test first. A friend just moved into town and they ask you for your preferred people, the people that you use for different services. So this is what we want for you. Imagine they ask you for your dentist, and this assumes that you lived in the town for some time. I get that. If you just moved here, you're not going to be able to answer these things. But let's say that you lived in a place for a while, or you think about your hometown, and I asked you, hey, do you know a local dentist I can go to? Bam, you got a person. Hey, do you have a number for a plumber? Do you have a number for a landscaper? Do you have a number for a chiropractor? Most likely, you were able to think about these people offhand. So if I did this for myself, okay, dentist is Meeting House Dental, plumber is this guy Jason that my dad knows, landscaper is my dad, chiropractor is this one doctor that I went to back in Pennsylvania and Doylestown area. Done. Right? Easy. Because these are all people that I've been to before and I associate with these names. Now, there's other dentists in my town, right? There's a lot of them. There's a lot of other plumbers. There's a lot of other landscapers. There's a lot of other chiropractors, but there's 4 people that I think about for these things. And so when someone asks Evan Transu for his recommendation on these things or starts posing a problem with their dental health or with their plumbing or with their yard or with their back, I already have a recommendation. That's what we want for you, okay? If they think about acne or someone brings that up at the Thanksgiving table, you get thought about. If it's gut issues, same thing. Perimenopause, same thing. That's what we want for you. Here's how you can do it. We got to get down your slogan or tagline. And for those of you that have known me for a while, you'll already see where I'm going with this, especially on the next slide as well. I am someone who has done this religiously over time. There's someone that does this really well, actually, too. You probably can look them up to get a better idea. So if you go on Instagram, you can follow my friend Molly Eastman. She's very big in the health space. She is a master at personal branding. If you want to know everything that you need to know about personal branding, all you got to do is watch her and learn through osmosis. You don't have to even buy any of her stuff. She doesn't sell anything on personal branding, right? Because she is one brand and one brand only, and that is the brand Sleep is a Skill. So when she opens up her Instagram reels, when we open up Instagram and we watch her Instagram reels, this is how it normally goes. She'll have some kind of great hook, and then over and over and over again, you have to hear her slogan and tagline. I could say it to you right now. It is embarrassing, but I will do this. And every time I see her, because she lives in the same city as me, I always do this to her because it's like funny. It's probably a little crazy to her, but it's stuck in your head because you hear it so much. So if I go online right now and I go onto Instagram and she just posted something today, she might give you, again, an interesting stat or fact. And she might say, do you know if you have blackout curtains in your house, you could get 50% better sleep? Now, before she gets to the rest of the reel, this is where she introduces herself. This is the indoctrination. I'm Molly Eastman, founder of Sleep is a Skill, here to get you the best sleep of your life. Bam, she moves into the rest of the topic. But she says that every single video. The podcasts that she's on, all of this stuff, over and over and over again, she is branding herself to the point that I can recite it for you here, embarrassingly, as I'm doing this video. So we want to think about that for you. So the slogan and tagline are going to be what you use on podcasts. You're going to use this in blog posts. You can use it on social media, in videos, but even in written text on social media. So this is going to have to do with your niche. Okay? That's why we wanted to get that done beforehand. So let's say for me, I'm Health Coach Ev. This is actually my original first brand. I was Health Coach Ev, and I help level the playing field for your physical and mental health. That was actually one of my real slogans and taglines before. So when I had a radio show called The Health Coach Ev Show in Philadelphia, and I wasn't that cool, by the way. I actually paid to be on that station, just to be clear. It did have a good audience, but I paid to be there, so I don't want to act cooler than I am. But I was just getting started. So it's cooler than not being on the radio. I actually had this tagline that Health Coach Ev is someone that helps level the playing field around physical and mental health. And what leveling the playing field meant is that we bring in the best of Western and natural medicine. That was leveling the playing field so that you as a consumer can make an informed decision. That's what I did. So for you, it might be something like, I'm Sarah, and I help busy moms reclaim their energy without caffeine. Now, one thing that I like to do with this is make it a little more catchy. So sleep is a skill is catchy, right? I don't know. You don't have to be smart to do this stuff, right? I don't know if that counts as alliteration. It might. I think it's close to it. If it doesn't, it's still catchy just because sleep and skill. So here are some things. Read this on the left. You can check this out. If you get like a rhyme or something, then that can be very useful in terms of people remembering it. So this sounds a little cheesy. You don't have to do this one. But if I said, hey, I'm Health Coach Ev. I help people get the best skin of their life, and I make beating pimples extra simple. Or I guess I should have said that differently, right? I'm Health Coach Ev. I make beating pimples extra simple, and I'm here to help you get the best skin of your life, the clearest skin you've ever had, skin that you're proud of to look in the mirror, skin that you want to take family photos with, whatever the outcome might be. And again, are you going to look a little silly saying beating pimples extra simple online? Yes. Are you going to forget it? No, I guarantee you're going to remember this one even a month from now, just because it's stupid and funny. So we'll want to use these things over and over and over again. So if I'm writing a blog post, right, we have the hook in the beginning. So the hook is going to be the thing that captivates someone. So again, this could just be written text. It might look something like, did you know there's certain tribes that have never shown any signs of having acne, and yet they never had access to modern cleansers, antibiotics, or Accutane like everyone's taking nowadays? Hi, my name's Evan. I make beating pimples extra simple, and I'm here to help you get the best skin that you've ever had. It turns out that there's 5 different tribes that have been studied that have no signs of acne despite living in very different parts of the world. So it's not like they have the same genetics. Why then did they have better skin than people who are cleansing their skin twice a day and using antibiotics and all this kind of stuff, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So you can use that on a blog even when you are never going to show your face. If you are doing a reel, again, just go to my friend Molly Eastman's page and check her out. It's MOLLIE.Eastman, I think. And either way, you can find that fairly easily. So she'll come up, and then you can watch what she does in the reel. You post the hook, you say the hook, you bring them back into your name, niche, and outcome, and then you go on to the next thing, right? And the reason that we're saying this is because it's an indoctrination. So just like these other brands have worked on you over time, you're going to start working on people over time. McDonald's, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it, right? That was indoctrinated into you over time. We want to do this for healthy and positive things. Here is the origin story, right, for Health Coach Ev. I made it simple, memorable, and impossible to forget. So I always let people know. Some of you guys probably can do this offhand. How many different health conditions did I have? Let's see if you can. I'm not going to ask you to put this in the comments. That's cheesy. But see in your head if you just got that. How many different diagnosed health conditions did I have at the age of 18? And if you guessed 7, you're right. So I indoctrinated you with that over time. I hope you're not mad at me. And what was the city that I went to on the West Coast where I got my big break in health? If you said San Diego, California, I've done a good job of indoctrinating you over time, right? Isn't that weird, though, that you might have been able to answer those things? Who did I go out to San Diego with? It was my what? My best friend. Weird. Very weird. So these things are intentional, and you can do them too. These are different examples of things that I had considered in the past or that you could steal from me. So you have the acne attacker, right? You could be a skin health specialist, the gut guru, the depression destroyer. And again, find something that feels authentic to you. But these are all memorable because they're playing on the words. Acne attacker, gut guru, depression destroyer. And when you do this right, people will start addressing you in this way. It is the funniest thing. Okay? So the company that I worked at previously, FDN, I had an alter ego that I started from day one called Detective Ev. Now, this was for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to separate us from health coaches because a lot of people in the health coaching industry kind of feel like they feel like they are not credentialed enough or not taken seriously enough, right? So the health detective thing was kind of new. It's like we're not a doctor, we're not playing doctor or nurse or anything like that, but what's a health detective, right? So that was Detective Ev. I made you think about that. But when I'm at conferences, still to this day, it is hilarious how many people will refer to me as Detective Ev. I just started a whole new channel and journey of my life. I'm not going to get into that here, but I am doing more investigative work, something I'm super passionate about. So I will be Investigator Ev there. And no one will care or remember at the first video, and they won't remember at the second video. But by the time I'm at the 50th video, people will walk up to me in person and call me Investigator Ev, just like they have with every other thing that I've ever done. So if it feels a little cheesy, that's the point. Cheesy is something that's going to stick. They're going to remember it. Have fun with it, right? I would say with Detective Eb, I'll be like, I'm not a police detective, right? That'd be kind of cool. But I'm like a detective in the sense of I investigate your health journeys. I look into your health issues. Investigator Ev, right? That will have something for that too. So just something to think about here. And I want you to take that moment. You can put this in the comments. I'd love for you guys to put this out there. Maybe you feel that you want to keep it private. That's fine. If anyone steals your stuff, I mean, that's a compliment. But that also encourages you to get to work faster, right? So I'd highly recommend getting this done today. You can ask friends and family. So an easy way to do this is just to go back, find out what your niche is, which I taught you to have symptoms involved in it. So anything that you have symptom-wise in your niche, that's going to be part of the name, okay? If you cannot figure this out, if you're not a creative person, if you're like, Ev, I'm never good at coming up with things, that's fine. You go to ChatGPT, Gemini, some other AI of your choice, and you just say, make a catchy name that sounds like acne attacker, gut guru, or depression destroyer, but use it with the symptoms of this. And if you don't like the first options, just tell it to make you more. It's going to come up with something good that sounds great to you, okay? One other thing to consider, because this is kind of the most important part. You can come up with the cool name and the slogan, and it can sound great. It might even sound amazing. If you do not do anything with it, then no one's ever going to remember it. You can post one time. That's not going to be memorable. So we're going to do this over and over and over again until people finally get it. And I promise you, it's one of those things, man, you're not going to get the instant reward. And I know that we like instant rewards, especially in today's world where it's very dopamine heavy and you go on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram and you're watching something hilarious or very sad in just 2 seconds of being online. So it's very easy to only be craving things that are fast. It's not going to happen quick, but I want you to just remember this moment when you started calling yourself XYZ thing or you started associating yourself with this slogan, and remember that day. Write it down in the journal somewhere if you have to, because there's going to come a day that if you stay consistent enough that someone's going to call you that unprovoked and you will know, dang, people are listening. It really worked. Okay, I promise it's a pretty cool thing. The reason I have this slide up is because it's kind of a larger topic that has more to do with social media than anything, but it can be discouraging, again, especially in today's world with how our minds are just being hijacked by the internet. It can be discouraging when we don't get quick wins right away, or we post something and we only get 1 like or 10 likes or whatever. So here's what I found generally to be true. If you have about 10 likes on something, you probably got 100 views. I actually found that this is even scaling down now. So I wrote this originally. I actually had a book at one point for health coaching. I did not publish that. It was with a partner, love her to death. We just didn't end up doing it fully together. So some of the content's from there. Still very relevant, right? I've found this to be even less over time. So now it might be, 5 likes sometimes is 100 views. Even, depending on your page, it could be 1 freaking like is 100 views, depending on what you're posting and how you're getting the attention and how warm your audience is. So you need to understand that just because you're not getting a lot of likes does not mean that people are not watching, okay? Especially when it comes to your hometown and stuff like that. Man, I cannot tell you how many people have come up to me. I didn't even know that they remembered who I was. So what I mean by that is like there's people in high school where I told you guys this in the first video. I made a bunch of poor decisions in high school. I had a lot going on with my mental health, got myself in a lot of trouble, and I ended up getting kicked out of a school that really no one gets kicked out of. You know, it usually has a 100% graduation rate most years, and it's a large school, right? 500 person graduating class. So it's not good. It was embarrassing, and my personal brand at that time, I would have never thought about it this way because I didn't think about branding at all. I was 18. But my personal brand at the time was someone who did drugs, did stupid things, made poor decisions, and was mean to other people. That's not a good personal brand at all, right? So some of those people, I never thought I'd see again. I forgot about them, all this kind of stuff. And then I got very into goal setting and personal development, and my first major career was youth mental health speaking, as I mentioned earlier. But that was a multi-year process. I can't even count it. I could not tell you and could not count if you asked me how many people over time from my high school or parents of other kids that I knew saw me randomly at the grocery store or saw me at a restaurant, or I ended up coming to their school and I didn't know that they worked there or went there. And they said, man, it's been so cool to see your journey. I'm so proud of you, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not appreciative of the compliment. That's not what I mean. But I'm thinking in the back of my head after those interactions, I'm like, I've never heard from you in 7 years. I haven't seen your name. You've never liked anything I posted. You've never commented on anything I posted. You've never messaged me saying anything. But yet you're saying this in person. Oh, you're watching everything I do. You're watching everything I do. And this is not Evan Trance, who's the center of the world. I'm saying this for you as well. What did we say in the beginning? Everyone's watching. Everyone's watching what you do. And they associate you with those things. Again, you can check yourself on this. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram, start scrolling, and find out how many people that you love and know about, even if they're not like friends of yours, right? They don't have to even be friends. It can be just like some big celebrity name that you never like and interact with. They would never know that you follow them or have a whole story about them in your head, okay? So people are watching. Don't get discouraged if you only get 1, 5, 10 likes when you start posting stuff or your blog or your social media reels and you're doing this slogan thing. So we're going to talk about how to do the blogs and the social media stuff in the future, but this was important. You got to start with this. And I guarantee you guys are already trying to post something, even if you don't have a great format. Add this in tomorrow and never take it away from what you do. If you write with AI, if you create with AI, plug it into your AI and say, this is my new slogan. This is my new alter ego, right? I'm going to be health coach Ev. I'm going to be detective Ev. I'm going to be the depression destroyer, the acne attacker, the gut guru, whatever it might be. You plug that into your AI as well and let it know that every single time it is creating content for you, that needs to be implemented in some way. All right? So let's go get this done. This is the assignment. You're going to draft your tagline, create your alter ego, and you're going to commit to showing up, because none of this matters if you don't show up to some degree. Maybe you can only commit to showing up every 2 weeks right now. If that's all you can do, fine. I think that's way too little, but if that's all you can do, that's better than nothing, that's for sure, because no one's going to talk about you if you're not even showing up at all. If you can do once every 2 days, even better. Once a day, that's a lot, just to be clear, even better though. All right, so if you want to talk about this in a private setting, maybe you don't want it fully on YouTube. I get that, just because you don't want your stuff stolen. I don't think anyone's going to steal it, but I get it. Then join our Functional Practitioner Collective group. That's where you have access directly to me and my partner, Ryan Monahan. So Ryan Monahan actually does the clinical side of everything. We're not formal partners in the Health Coach Business Program, but he is someone in that group. We have a partnership in another business, the Autoimmune Recovery Lab, that we have together, and he answers clinical questions in the Functional Practitioner Collective, and my wife and I answer the business and sales questions. So if you want help with this and you want to share your tagline and your alter ego and get some feedback in kind of a safe space that's not public, go to the link below in the YouTube description, join our Facebook group, and then we will give you a rating once you post it there, and tag us. Please tag us. It makes us easier, or makes it easier for us to see it. Also, make sure you're subscribed. We got a lot more videos coming out. There are tons of videos left in this business training and program. And then after that, we're most likely going to shift this channel a little bit into just, I wouldn't say random trainings. Random makes it seem like there's no thought process behind it, but just kind of trainings that have to do with what I'm hearing from the community over time. So, the next several weeks and months, we finish out this business program. And then once we're done that, we will be having a channel that is going to answer your questions more often, do some live Q&As, and then do other trainings that will be prioritized based on the need of the community that we develop here at that given time. So please subscribe, throw it a like if you like this, and if you could throw it a comment, that would also be great as well. I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you.